Okay, so good day, everyone. Good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another Microsoft Excel section brought to you by urBizEdge. For today's session, we're having a very interesting topic, building logistic reports in PowerBI. And our special guest is Gbenga Adeyemo. So about us, our organization, urBizEdge, we're registered Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and also enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We also specialize in helping companies and high-value professionals be on top of their business data. We're also the developer of some Microsoft tools which you can find in the Microsoft Office store, such as the Nigerian Finance Market Analysis tool, which is available on the Microsoft Office store. Also the developer of the Nigerian Stock Analysis Dashboard. Also a training company in Lagos, Nigeria. We have branches in Abuja, in Lagos, and also in Port Harcourt. So our next training will be in-depth Excel training, executive dashboard, and business data analysis, which is on the 21st. Okay, so on our special guest, Gbenga Adeyemo. So I was giving, he's actually loaded a lot. So Gbenga is an experienced data and business intelligence analyst. He's also a trainer, versed in using Microsoft Excel, that's advanced function, also Microsoft Power BI, SQL, R, Python, and MSPSS for data analytics. His experience in data and business intelligence analyst with experience working with FMCG and also healthcare in the healthcare industry. He's passionate about using the power of data to influence better decision making for organization. His vision is to build a community of data gurus where the culture of upskilling and learning and also relearning and unlearning will transform life. So with no further ado, I'll start sharing my screen and hand over the session to our special guest, Gbenga. So Gbenga, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from anywhere you are in the world. My name is Gbenga Adeyemo, and I'm a data analyst. What we are going to be doing today is something very, very interesting. A lot of organizations find it very hard, for them to be able to track their stock, for them to be able to know the quantity of stock that they have at risk, right, and the value of what is at risk. Now, today, what we are going to do is like to give everybody a template. If you find yourself working tomorrow in fast-moving consumer goods, for example, healthcare, or anything that has to do with logistics, fleet management, stock and all of those, just for you to be able to keep track of your stock, the value of your stock, and know how to be able to use your stock analysis to push your sales. What I'm about to showcase today is a template that everyone I feel could, use. The case study we are looking at today is that you as a person, you find yourself in a situation whereby you are given a task to build a report on the stock you have in your warehouses or different stock rooms to see how you can bring out insight from this to all of this stock. Now, I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just give me a few seconds, please. I'm going to show you exactly what we want to do today, how it's going to look like, and I'm going to do some explanation. Please let me know if you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Now look at what I have on my screen here. Now let me explain it to us. So I previously worked in a fast-moving consumer goods organization, and this is where I learned this from. What I'm about sharing with us today is called stock analysis reports. Now, let me explain what it entails. Now, for example, you are running a fast-moving consumer goods business and you have different warehouses in several places, right? And every day there's stock in, there's stock out, and all of those activities are happening because of sales, right? And you want to keep track of what is going on about your stock at every point in time. Now, what we are doing is not just about showcasing the stock alone, but we are also going to be, I'm also going to be showing you how you can connect your stock data to your sales data, right? And how you can perform risk assessment on your stock, right? Now, if you look at the table I have here, it's just a simple table chart, a simple Power BI table chart that has the name of the warehouse, the name of the product, the production date, the production date, the expiry date, right, of the product. Every product has a shelf life days, that is the lifespan of that product, right? The number of days that that product has used, right? The number of days left for that product to expire, the quantity that was reported by the stock analyst, or you call them inventory clerk or whatever, right? The percentage shelf life of this stock, right? The average sales over the past 90 days, right? There's something called days of cover, right? To see how many days it will take you to finish selling that product based on your previous 90 days sales activities, right? The quantity that will be at risk if you continue selling the way you are selling on an average, right? And the value of that quantity that will be at risk in dollars. So we are going to look at all of this. Now, let me open the Excel file so that I'll be able to explain the kind of tables we have and what every other table, all this table entails. I'm going to try to rush a little because of our time. I only have 1 hour to do this, so I'm going to do some kind of rushing. Right. So we have a table called warehouse table that has all the lists of all the warehouses. It's a dimension table that has the warehouse code. You can call it plan code, and we have the warehouse itself. So every warehouse has a number. Is warehouse 1. We have warehouse 1 to warehouse 10. Right. The stock input. So every inventory clerk or stock analyst, right, or logistics personnel, right, in every warehouse is that in charge of inputting all of these stock reports, right, on an ERP, or it might be on a custom application, right? Now, now it might even be, for example, the inventory application might be built using Power Apps, right? It all depends on the organization. So if you look at this stock input table, what you're seeing there is the month, right? The month, that's April, that's 4. We have the week, that's the previous week we just finished using now. The warehouse code, every warehouse has a code, right? The warehouse name itself, the every product has a code number, as a product number. We have the product name, we have the quantity that was reported. Now, the quantity you are seeing here is the quantity that was reported by this inventory personnel or warehouse personnel, right? Now, the expiry date of this product and the officer that reported the product, the officer that reported the stock as at that time, as at that week. But let's assume that this is like a weekly activity, or let's assume that this is like a monthly activity or a bi-weekly, right? But all we will need to understand is that the table here is the table where everything the inputs as regards stock, right, is on this table. Now, for the sales, right, you're also seeing the warehouse that made the sales, the warehouse code, the quantity that was sold, the sales date, the date when the sales activity was performed, the product number, the product name, and the warehouse name that sold the products, right? Now we have a table for price, right? Now the different prices, I want you to understand that the prices differ per warehouse, because we are assuming that from this data that different warehouses are in different geographical locations, right? And in sales, right, it is normal that the prices of something might differ according to different geographical locations. So in the price table, we also have the products, we have the warehouse code, we have the last date that they made changes on the price itself, the currency of the price, the units, right? The shelf life of that product, the product name. So we are assuming that this is a pharmaceutical company, because everything you are seeing on the product here are a list of the common household drugs that we use: Amatem, Ampiclox, chloroquine, Panadol, paracetamol, vitamin C, and all of those. So these are the 4 tables that we are going to be working with today. Okay, so let me open my Power BI and we start right away. Okay, so the first thing is that I'm going to import my data to Power BI. So I hope we've all seen what the last output is going to be like. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so the first thing is I import my data. So an Excel file, stock data is the name of the Excel workbook. So I'm just going to be replicating or repeating what I have before. So I'm going to check all my tables. I'm going to check all my tables. It's still previewing. Okay, transform data. Take me to my Power Query. Data is still loading. Okay, yeah, the Power Query editor is on now. So let me just do some data cleaning before I move. So, okay, so we have product number. Product number should be in text because it's a key. The warehouse code is fine. The last change in dates is fine. Price, currency, price units, shelf life days, products, and warehouse, that's fine. Stock inputs, we have the month, the week, warehouse code, product number should be in text. Place current, product name is fine. Quantity, expiry dates, and the officer that is in charge of reporting that. We have warehouse. So here I'm going to say use first through as headers, okay, which is fine. Sales, the sales table itself, warehouse code, quantity, sales dates, product number, product, and warehouse. So these are fine. I can do my close and apply. Okay. And just wait for some seconds for it to load the Power BI desktop. Okay, now the next stage is that I'm going to model this data. I need to delete the auto modeling done by Power BI. I didn't switch off the settings. So let me delete all. Let me reduce the zoom so that we can see clearly. Okay. Now, the only table I have here that is a dimension table is the price table. It's a price table because the price table has a distinct list of all the warehouses with the products and the prices attached to these products, right? Let me have my warehouse table here. The two fact tables I'm dealing with is stock and sales. Now, how am I going to connect them together? Now, let's go to the data view. You will see that on the stock input table, you are saying that there is warehouse code and there is product number, right? There's warehouse code. So I'm not going to be using, if I use warehouse code to connect both stock and sales table, it might affect my answers, right, on the table, on the table chart. Also, if I use product, it's also going to affect. So what am I going to do? I'm going to concatenate product number and warehouse code on both tables, on both the sales table and the stock input table. So what I do, I click on new column. I'll click on new column. And I will say warehouse slash product, right? That's going to be concatenate, say concatenate warehouse code and product number on the stock input table, right? I'm going to be having this. Now I've concatenated the two, right? I have that. Now I'll also go to the sales table. I'll go to the sales table and do the same thing. I'm also going to come here. I'm also give it the same name. say warehouse slash products, right, equals, I'm also going to concatenate again and say my warehouse code, right, comma, my product number, and my product number, close the brackets, press enter, right? Now, if I go to the price table also, I will see that the price table also has product name and warehouse code. Now, we are going to be meeting some challenges here, and I'm going to show us how we can, maneuver our data to get our desired results, right? I click on new column again. I'll also create that key, right? I also call it warehouse slash products, right? Equals, I will say concatenate here again, concatenate my warehouse code, right? Oh, sorry about that. I'm not done yet, but secondly press enter, comma, my warehouse code and my product number. Now, so I have the three tables having the same key now, right? So now let me connect them together. So since this is the only table that I have that is a dimension table, I'm going to be connecting this table to the two fact tables I have here, which is the sales and the stock, right? So let me expand this a little. Okay, so I'm going to say warehouse code and product code connect to the stock inputs table, and also it should connect to the one on the sales table, right? Okay, done. Also, if you notice that on the sales table, or no, sorry, on the stock and stock table, right? We have now. Let's go to the stock table and can create some new columns, some new other columns. Now you see that here we have. Okay, I'm not on the stock table yet. The stock table. You see that we have expiry dates. This is the date this particular product or this particular drug is actually going to expire, right? Now, how do we know the production date from the expiry date? Don't forget that the good thing is that we have shelf life. The shelf life days, that is the lifespan of each product, we have them in the price table. So let's try to bring the shelf life days that we have here, let's bring it inside the stock table, right? So how do we do that? We'll say create new column, click on new column, and say use the lookup value. So you say shelf life. So shelf life is right. Shelf life. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Temilayo?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just that it's going off
Sorry.
and on. But I can hear you.
Sorry, I think it's network. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so shelf life is we are bringing it from the price table. Shelf life equals, we say lookup value. Lookup value, what do we want to return? We want to return the unit price from the price table, right? What is the connecting key? The connecting key is the warehouse slash the product code that we have. So which one is distinct? The one that is distinct is coming from the price table. So I say warehouse slash product from the price table, comma, and the other connecting key is the warehouse slash product from the stock table. So I say warehouse slash product from the stock table, close my brackets. I have the shelf life days. Now, how do I get the production date here? How do I get the production dates? This one is still loading. Yeah, I have the shelf life days here now. Let me just change this to 0 decimal. So that makes the whole number. right? Oh, sorry, made a mistake, sorry. I'm supposed to return not the price, sorry, the shelf life days. The shelf life days, sorry, let me correct that. Press enter. So it's going to return the shelf life days for me. It is the lifespan of that product coming from the price table. Okay, good. I have that now. Now, the next thing is that I need to get my production date. Very important. I know my expiry date and I also know my shelf life days, right? Now, I want to get the production date, right? How am I going to do that? How I'm doing that is that I'm going to minus, right, the shelf life days from the expiry date to get my production date. I click on new column again. Click on new column again. This time around, I'm creating the production date. We'll say expiry date minus the shelf life, right? It's going to give me the production date, and I will change this to day, month, and year formats. So now you can see the production date now from the date the product is going to expire. Right now, what is the other thing I need here again? I think let me just stop here for now. Let me just stop at the production date for now. Let me go back to my report canvas. I click on table. I'm using the table charts. Right. Let me put a heading here. Start text box. We call this stock analysis of XYZ company. Control A. I make my font bigger, bold. If I want to add color, I'll put it on black. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me make it align in the middle. Okay, so I have my table. Now, I'm going to be bringing some columns inside the table directly. I'm going to be bringing some columns inside the table directly. How do I do that? So I'll come here. Let me pick it from the stock input table. The first thing I want to see is the warehouse. The warehouse. I have all the warehouses here, right? I have all the warehouses here. Second thing I want to see is the product. See the product here, right? Each product by warehouse. Let me go back to the template. The next thing we want to see here is the production date. The production date. If I put the production date here like this, the way it is, it's going to break it down for me year, month, and I don't want it to be like this. So what am I going to do is that I'm going to create a calendar table. I create my own date table. I come to data view here, create my own date table. New table. Create my own date table. Call it calendar. I will say calendar equals, I'm going to using variable and calendar. See, the first variable is minimum underscore date. That is the minimum date. The minimum date is going to be the minimum date from my production column, production date column, right? And the second variable is going to be the maximum date. It's going to be coming from the expiry date column, right? I'm going to say return calendar, right? Calendar function, the first variable minimum underscore date, and the second variable maximum underscore date, right? Press enter. Still loading. Okay, then I change this to the day, month, year format. I ignore the time. Okay, I go back to my data model again, and I'm going to be connecting this date column, that we just created in the calendar table. I'm going to be connecting it to both the expiry date. So one is going to be active, the one is going to be inactive. So let me connect the dates to production dates, right? To production dates. And secondly, I'm going to be connecting it also to the expiry dates. So expiry date is going to be inactive. Yeah. So now I can now come here to my stock and put production day here, right? And put expiry dates here. Now I have 4 things now: warehouse, product, production dates, expiry dates. And the next thing that will be on this table is the shelf life days. The shelf life days is also coming from the stock input table. I'm going to be putting it beside the expiry date here. So I have sum of shelf days. So I'll just say don't summarize, right? Don't summarize. Okay, the next thing I have again here is we want to get the number of days used, the number of days that this product has used from the day it was produced, right? How many days has this product used from the date it was produced? Now we are going to be doing days used and days left. The days left is we want to know how many days will it take for this product to expire, right? So I'm going to be doing that on the table here. I'm going back to, oh, sorry, it's not the table. I'll go to my stock table again. It's a new column. New column. Say days used equals, I'm going to be using dated if. So say, so this is going to be production today. Today minus the production date. So it's going to be today, right? Today, comma, the production date, and my interval is in days. So day, close brackets, press enter. Okay, let me check if I'm correct. This was produced on the 28th of January, and from today, I was going to expire July. So I made a mistake here. It means production date should come first. Production date should come first before today. For today, right? Press enter. Let's see now. Yeah, this is correct. So that product has used 85 days out of the standard 183 days, right? For as per shelf life. Now let's go to the new column again. Let's create days used. Days left rather. Days left. Product to expire. That is going to be the same dated if, right? So this is going to be today, comma, expiry dates, day. Press enter. Right, so if you had the days used plus the days left, it should sum up to exactly the shelf life days. For example, here 85 plus 98 should give you 183 days, right? So this product in particular, as from today, is only going to use 98 days before it will expire. So let's go back to the table again. and say days used, put on the table. Days used, put on the table. Make sure you put it on don't summarize. And days left, also again, put on the table. Don't summarize, right? Okay, what's the next thing we're going to have here? The next thing we are having here is the quantity that was reported. That's also coming from the shelf life, the stock inputs table. So I'll go to that table and look for quantity. Yeah, quantity. Yeah, quantity that was reported per each warehouse, per each product, right? Per different production and expiry dates, right? Okay, the quantity that was reported. But the next thing I'll have here is the percentage shelf life. And how do I get that? How I'm getting percentage shelf life is that I'm going to say the days used, right, divided by the standard shelf life days of that product. That is how I'm going to know the percentage shelf life. Now, there's a reason for knowing the percentage shelf life. In some organizations, for example, when you have a standard shelf life days, the organization can create another standard shelf life days for themselves. So let's say if a product is supposed to expire in, let's say the shelf life is like 100 days, now they might create a new shelf life days within the organizational context to say that our own shelf life day, if the standard shelf life days of a product is 100 days, our own is going to be 80 days. So that means we are not going to be waiting till that product is close to expiry before we say, oh, this particular product is going to be at risk, right, of getting expired. So it makes them to quickly push sales to sell that product on time before it gets expired. So they might not be using the standard shelf life piece of that product. They might create their own standard shelf life days, right? So we're going to be dividing the days used by the shelf life, the standard shelf life days, to get the percentage shelf life, right? So we come back here, right? What I'm going to do now, let me create a table differently for some of these DAX formulas. So I'm going to come my home and say enter data. Enter data. I'm going to be calling this the hash DAX table. I'm putting hash in front because I want it to be on top. So I'm putting hash DAX. I'll load that immediately. There's nothing inside the table. Empty. Okay. Just finish loading. Okay, now I'll click on the table and say new measure. New measure. New measure. Right, I'll call this the percentage shelf life. That's the days used that product has used from the standard shelf life days of that product. So percentage shelf life is equals to, I'll call the first variable, I'll call it AA. I'll say that's the sum of the days used. Close the bracket. I'll call the second variable BB, and I will say that's the sum of the standard shelf life days. It's still going to break it down row by row by the time we finish the aggregation, right? Shelf life, right? And I'm going to say return the division of the AA by the BB and return 0. Press enter. Right, okay, I can add this to the table now. Now let me change this to percentage, data type to percentage. So this is going to tell you the percentage shelf life of each product by the warehouse, right? So make this percentage column measure O number. Good. Now we have the warehouse, we have the product, we have the production date, we have the expiry date, we have the shelf life, the standard shelf life days, we have the days used, we have the days left, right? We have the quantity that was reported. So the first quantity you are seeing here is the quantity that was reported by the inventory clerk or inventory personnel or warehouse personnel, whoever is in charge of reporting the stock as at a particular date, right? So if for example, the reason why we need this is because if by standard, any percentage shelf life that is more than 100%, or 100% means that that product has expired, right? That means that product has finished its lifespan, right? Now, let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is, now we are going to be showcasing the average sales from the sales table for the past 90 days, right? We want to know what has been the sales of these products, of this product you are reporting, what has been the sales activity for that product. Now, how are we going to do that? How we are doing that is that we are creating a DAX formula. It's a new measure, say average sale. Don't forget that the sales table is from another table entirely, and we are going to say that this is divide, right, the sum of the quantity sold from the sales table, right, divide, close the brackets, divide that by 90, turn 0, press enter, divide that by 90. Now there's going to be a little bit of issue here. Tell us how we are going to go about it. So average sales, now I want to put my average sales inside this table. Now, you see that it's giving me the same number all through. Even though from my data model shows that I have already connected these two tables together using the dimension price table. So what might now be the issue? The issue is that even though I'm using this to connect, but I'm bringing in all of the other variables are coming from the stock input table, right? So what the thing is that in this situation, what I need to do is to also concatenate the production date together with the warehouse code and together with the product code for me to be able to achieve this aim, right? When this is not working, because now there's an hierarchy in terms of the data model, how the data model works, right? Even though if all of the other stuff like the products, the warehouse, and every other thing, I'm bringing it from the price table, I'm still going to encounter the same issues. Or let me say, those are the issues that I encountered, right, while building these reports when I was in my last organization. Now, how did I resolve this, right? This is how I did it. Now, at this point, I got stuck, right, because the average sales wasn't showing exactly what should be the average sales. Now, what did I do? I created a new table, an entire new table. You are using add columns and summarize. I'm going to be showing you how that looks like. Now, I created a new table, right, using add columns and summarize. That will give me a distinct list of the warehouse code, the product name, the product code or product number, the production date, right, coming from the stock inputs table, right, and the concatenation of the warehouse code and the product code, and also a concatenation of the warehouse code, the product code, and the production date, right? Now, let me just copy it here instead of me typing it out again. Let me just copy this here. Might not make sense to us now, but let's just do the modeling, then we'll see. Right? So I'm going to say, come to the model view, new table. I'm going to copy the formula and press enter. Right? Okay. Production date here. Let me just change it to day month here. I'm going to explain what I'm doing exactly. So on this new table that I created, it has a list of all the warehouses, the warehouse code, product name, production dates, warehouse / product code is what I have here, and the one that concatenates also with the production date. Now, let me go back to the stock input table. Now, you see that what I was using to model the two fact tables together was, the warehouse code slash the product code. But when I want to bring in sales, I'm still having issues of the sales giving me the same figures. So what do? Now I need to restructure my data model in such a way that is going to give me my desired result, right? So what do I need to do? What do I need to do is that I'm going to create another new column here on the stock input table that gives me the concatenation of the warehouse code, the product code with the production date. So I'm going to say simply, let me call these, let me just shorten it. Let me just say warehouse slash product slash production date, right? Equals to, so I'm going to say, since I already have warehouse slash product here, right? I'm just going to say concatenate the warehouse slash the product code with the production date. So that will form another new key, another distinct new key for us, right? Production date, press enter. So I have that. Now, going to my sales, right? You see that I cannot bring in production date here from the stock table because there will not be any unique value that I can use to connect both tables. What I mean by unique key is that if I should use lookup value, right, I might not be able to bring the production date, right, exactly the way it is on the and this is even a different table entirely because this one is just sales. It's possible that you sell a particular product at several times, you get. So now the next thing I'm going to do now, since I can't do that here, but now I have two tables now that has that new key that has the combo of warehouse, production dates, and the product code, right? Warehouse code, product code, and the production date, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my data model again, and I'm going to reconnect the tables, right? So tables are going to focus on this new table that has the production date with the warehouse code and the product code. So what I'm going to do is that I'm now going to come here. Since I have that also now on my stock table, I'm going to be modeling that. I'm going to model that with what I have here on the newly created table, right? I'm going to model that with what I have here, right? And I'm also going to do that with it. Now, the sales does not have the three codes together, right? So I'm still going to maintain just the warehouse code slash the product code with the new table created, right? This is going to be many to many. Just leave it like that. Press OK. Now let's go back to our table and see. Okay, it's still showing average sales like this. Let's go back to our data model again and see where the problem is. Okay. Okay, one to many. Press OK. Come back here again. This is many to many. So let me check if I have the same values all around. Okay, I have the same values all around. Let me check my average sales again. Okay, let me rewrite the formula. Say my first variable, I call it AA, equals sum of the quantity reported in sales, right? And the second variable equals 90. Right? I'm going to say return dividing AA is my BB, return 0. Okay, I still have the same issue. Let's go back to my data model and see where the issue is coming from. Okay, let me delete this connection. I don't need it again. Same issue. Let me go back to the templates. Just give me a few seconds, guys. A few seconds, please. Okay, so let me check my connection. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that the connection between stock and the newly created table, I'm going to make it cross filter. And let's see. Okay, let's go back. Yes, so I have the average sales over the past 90 days showing here on my table. So let me just do a recap again. We have a warehouse now, product name, production date, expiry date, shelf life, the days used, the days left to expiry, the quantity reported as at that time, right? The quantity physically present in the warehouse as at that time, the percentage shelf life, the average sales. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have on this table is the days of cover. Let me explain days of cover to us. Days of cover is you are going to be dividing, right, the quantity reported by the stock personnel or the inventory or the warehouse personnel by the average sales. That days of cover will tell us the number of days it will take you for you to be able to finish selling that product, to finish selling off that product from the warehouse, right, based on your sales activities. Now, how do we get that? So write a new DAX formula again, say new measure, right? We say days of cover, the days of cover equals, right? You're going to be saying the sum of the quantity reported from the stock table, right? You're going to divide that. So let me put a divide. You're going to divide that by your average daily sales in the past 90 days. The average sales, return 0, press enter. This is the interesting part. So days of cover will tell us how many days it will take you to finish selling that product based on your average sales, right? So you're going to put days of cover here beside this. So right, look at now. Now we have, look at here, the reported 618, right? Quantity of Amatem in warehouse 1, right? The average daily sales is 219.74. Now, if I'm selling 219.74 per day, that means it will take me almost 3 days for me to sell off this 618 that I have in my warehouse. I hope that's clear to us. That's for days of cover. And the next thing I want to see is the quantity at risk. The quantity at risk. Now, the end goal of these reports is to be able to ascertain what quantity of what product in what warehouse will be at risk of getting expired if you don't push sales to sell them off in time. Then it will also help you in making decisions as per what products to push out first, right, based on the quantity that will be at risk if you don't push them out of the warehouse right? Now let's look at that. Let's explore that. Now, how do we get the quantity that's going to be at risk, right? Now, this is how we're going to get it. Let me go to an Excel file here and do a simple explanation on what we are trying to do. So it's not just about the formula, but we need to really understand it. Let's say a product called Amatem, right? A drug. Now I'm reporting that I have 20 in my warehouse, right? And on a daily basis, I'm selling, let me just put quantity here. Now on a daily basis, on the average, for the past 90 days, let me say 90 days, I've been selling 2 per day, right? I've been selling 2 per day, right? From my previous sales activities. Let me call this one average sales, just like what we have on the Power BI, average sales. I've been selling 2 per day. Now, I have this product will expire, let me say days left for that product to expire is, let me say, 3 days for it to expire, right? So this product will expire in 3 days. This particular quantity and product will expire in 3 days, right? Now, I have just 3 days left for it to expire, and I'm selling average of 2 per day, right? What will be the quantity at risk? Now, my days of cover means how many days will it take me to finish selling that product is going to be equals to the quantity that I have here that I'm reporting divided by my average sales, my daily average. So it means it will take me 10 days to finish selling this product if I continue selling an average of 2 per day, which I've been doing before, right? To take me 10 days, and I have just 3 days left for that product to expire. It means that, let's say I sell this product on that daily average of 2, that means I will only sell 6 at the end of the day, right? I will only sell 6, and at the end of the day, 14 is going to expire. So now in this report, the 14 has not expired, actually. It has not expired yet. But there is a risk involved in terms of this product and the quantity that we are reporting. Because if we keep selling an average of 2 per day, and we have just 3 days left, and our average sales is saying 2 per day, right? It means that I will only cover 6, that is 3 times 2. I will only cover 6, right? I'm only going to cover 6, and the remaining 14 is going to expire. So to the stakeholders that are looking at this report, you are going to be seeing that if I continue selling like this, it means that there's probability of 14 quantity rather, of this product getting expired, 14 units of this product getting expired, because the expiry date is just remaining 3 days, right? So it helps in decision making. Now let's go back and write the exact formula that helps us to get that. So we are going to call this one quantity at risk. Quantity at risk. Quantity at risk. So I'm calling this quantity at risk of getting expired, right? How do I calculate that? My first variable is going to be, let me call it AA, and that will be, now for you to get what is likely going to expire, you are going to minus your days of cover from the days left. So let's assume that the days of cover and the days left is the same thing. That means you don't have to worry about something getting, maybe a particular product or quantity is going to get expired, right? Because the days of cover are the days to take you to finish selling based on your average sales, and the days left to expiry from the standard shelf life days, right? If they are the same, it means there's nothing that will be at risk. You are going to finish selling everything before they get expired. So now I'm going to say that this is days. My formula is going to be, I'm sorry, let me go back. My formula is going to be my days of cover minus days left. My days of cover, right? Minus, I'm going to use some. days left coming from the stock table. My days left, my first variable. The second variable, right, is going to be that's my average sales per day. My average sales per day. I'm going to bring the measure here. My average sales per day, right? And the next thing I'm going to do is to now say return for me the multiplication of AA. We're going to say AA multiplied by BB, my second variable. Now let me explain what I did here. You know, I explained to you earlier that the average sales is what you are selling on an average for the past 90 days, right? Your days of cover is how many days it will take you if you continue selling that same quantity consistently for what you are selling on average, like your daily average, right? That's for days of cover. How many days is going to take you for you to finish selling that product, right? Based on your previous daily sales, your average sales. Right now, the days left is how many days is remaining for that product to expire, right? So now, if I minus my days of cover from the days left and I have a 0, it means that there's nothing that is going to be at risk of getting expired, right? But if my days of cover is more, than the days left, that means there's something that is going to, there's a particular quantity of the product that's going to get expired if I continue selling that way. Right now, if I now multiplied, what will be the result if you minus days of cover from the days left multiplied by your average sales, right? Press enter. I'm going to encounter some issues here. I'll show you how to resolve that. So you bring that inside of your table, right? Now you are seeing some minus. So now let's look at why we're having the minus. Now let's look at this first case scenario. Now the quantity reported is 618, right? 618, 53% shelf life. Average sales per day is 219. Let's just say 220. Now days of cover is, let me just say, almost 3 days. So that means that my days left is still 85 days. So it means that I'm going to finish selling these products even before it will expire, even before the expiry date. I'm going to finish selling up these products because even my daily average is almost 220 and I'm reporting 618 in stock as at that particular date, right? So, and I have 85 days left for it to expire. So now the reason why this is showing minus is because this is below 0. Right, so we are going to now go back to our quantity as risk to say that if the answer from the quantity as risk is less than 0, it should just still maintain the answer as 0. So let me cancel the return here. Let me cancel this and call this another variable. Let me call it risk. Right, we call it risk. Oh, sorry. Equals to this. Now I will now say return if my answer there, let me just call it answer. Let me call it variable answer. If my answer is less than 0, right? Then return 0 for me. Just maintain 0. Is my answer. So it means that for all the products that they are not at risk of expiring, because I'm going to sell it off before the days left, that means those products are going to be showing 0. Now let's look at some other case scenarios here. This is reporting to, okay, let me just go back here and put a comma on this column, the quantity column, then put a comma. Then put a comma. Okay, so I can see that clearly. So in this case now, I'm reporting 22,272, 37% shelf life, I'm selling an average of 290.4 per day. Then this of cover is 101. My days left is 113. Okay, this is fine. Let me just scroll down and see if I can see any other one like that. That the days left is more than the days of cover. Sorry, days of cover is more than the days left. Yeah. Some things are not right here. I'm coming. This left here is 111. My days of cover is 7. Okay, this is still fine. Okay, look at this scenario here now. Here, you see that the this left is 91. Look at this scenario here. This left is 91, and my days of cover is 222, right? And nothing is showing as per what's going to expire, right? Okay, I'm coming, please. There are also scenarios where days of cover is 0 because they have not sold anything for that product in the past 90 days. They've not sold anything, right? Okay, so let's go and rewrite our quantity at risk again. So we are going to come here again and say that if my average sales, right, is equals to 0, right, it means that the quantity that will be at risk, should still be the same quantity that was reported because they did not sell that product at all, right? So just return for me the quantity coming from, right? Okay, let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. Okay, I think it has worked. So we look at the average sales, nothing. There's nothing there. It didn't sell at all. At first, when we wrote the first if, it didn't return this for us, right? Because the only condition I put there is that if the quantity at risk is 0, right? It's less than 0, right? It is minus, then return 0, right? There's nothing like minus in terms of stock. Is that you have stock or not? And there's nothing like minus in terms of what will be at risk, right? It is either 0 or upwards. Now, the second if says that if the average sales is nothing, right? That means the entire quantity that was reported is going to be at risk, right? It's going to be at risk, right? That's the second if. Now, the third if will be that if the quantity as risk answer you are getting is more than the quantity, right, that was reported, then just maintain that same quantity as your answer. The quantity reported should still be your answer, right? So there might be those kind of situations. So what do? You are going to say, go back to your formula again and write another that says if again, if your answer, so it's the last variable up there, is more than the quantity that was reported, more than the quantity that was reported, right? Okay. Then return the quantity, just return back the quantity that was reported, right? Or return your answer itself, right? And press enter. Let's see what happens. Still loading. Good. So you see now that the third if is saying that, okay, in the situation whereby the quantity that is coming out from your results is more than the quantity that was reported initially, right? You should just maintain the quantity that was reported as the answer, or else it should just return for you your answer initially. What will be your answer initially, right? So now we've been able to achieve the most important thing in this report, which is us assessing the risk involved in the stock we have in different warehouses. Now let's now go to the last part, or let's go to the last part that tells us the value of what is at risk of getting expired. What are we going to lose, right, if this product gets expired before the remaining days to expiry, right? So we come here again and we create another measure. I say value at risk. What is the value of what we are going to lose if this product gets expired? What are we going to lose as an organization? So you say value. Let's look at the value. Let's say value in naira. Value in. I'm just going to read this N to represent naira. I can naira symbol here. So value in naira is going to be. We are going to multiply. There's a unit price per each product. Let me go to. Let me just keep this here for now. I'm still going to come back here. So there's a unit price attached to each product, and they vary per different warehouses because we are assuming that these different warehouses are in different geographical locations. So price table, right? We have the units, the price here. Do we have it on the stock data, stock table? Let me check. Do we have it there? No, we don't have it. So let's bring it here. Let me just copy what I have here and say create a new column. We are almost done. Create a new column. Copy this and let me just change this to the price. Right? The price. And I'm going to be seeing the prices of each. Oh, sorry, I didn't change the name. I'll call it price. So this is telling me the price, right, for these products per different warehouses. And so I come here now and say the value of what is at risk in naira is going to be the price, right, from the stock table multiplied by the quantity reported for me to be able to get what will be at risk. Right, so I'm going to bring that here and see what I have that will be at risk. Now, there are still some issues here. Notice that for those that have, yeah, I've seen my mistake now. Now, the quantity I'm going to be using here is the quantity at risk and not the quantity coming from the stock table. So let me just change that and say quantity at risk. So if quantity at risk is 0, that means that in terms of value, nothing is going to be at risk. Yeah, exactly. Right? Okay, I'm seeing some issues there. I'm coming. Quantity at risk here is 57, but it's not showing the value at risk. Okay, I guess those are the products that does not have those products don't have we practically don't have a value attached to them in their unit price. Yeah, I think so. I think that's why. So the next thing is that I'm going to also, let's say I'm reporting to an investor. An investor wants to know what this value is in terms of dollars, right? So I'm going to create a new measure again. I'm going to say value bracket dollars, value bracket dollars, value dollars, right, equals. So what you need to do is just to say, just to divide the Naira value, right? The Naira value. And let's just say, for example, let's go online to check the current Naira to dollar value, 460.53. And just say, okay, 460.53, right? Return 0, press enter. And you're going to see the value in terms of dollars, right? Yes. So Temidayo, it comes to the end of my stock analysis. So to do a recap of what I've done, from the warehouse to the quantum of quantity, they are all coming from the stock table. But the only places that I wrote new measures was coming from the shelf life percentage to average sales, days of cover, which is number of days to take me to finish selling that product, the quantity that will be at risk if I keep selling at the rate of my average sales, and the value of what is going to be at risk in Naira and in dollar. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Wow, that was definitely lots. Okay, so from the chat box now, let me just check. So it has to do more with calendar, right? So someone is asking that, what is the best practice when creating a calendar table? Is it so he gave an example, okay, calendar starting from, he gave the day, the month, and enders like year 2, so they all be based on the range of from the fact table itself.
Okay, so well, for me, right, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the best, but what I usually do is that, for example, if I have 2 fact tables, for example, what I do is to pick my minimum date to come from the minimum date from the first fact table and the maximum date from the second fact table. So in a scenario now, let's say, for example, I was in a scenario before where I had 2 dates from 2 fact tables. Let me remember what actually happened there. I think, okay, one was the order table. That one was just order, what was ordered. And one was the actual sales table, right? So my calendar date came. How did I create my calendar date? I said you should pick the minimum date from the order table and the maximum date from the sales table. So I just used that to, to be able to find a way to control my calendar table so that it won't be too bogus. So that by the time the new data, when I do a refresh and the new data is coming from the database and I refresh, the calendar table still maintains just a range between the minimum and the maximum coming from the order and the actual sales table. So that's what's basically what I love doing. So it all depends on the context you find yourself that determines how you are going to create your own calendar table. So there's no particular way. It all depends on the tables you are dealing with that determines how you create your own calendar table.
Okay. So someone also said that he prefers using calendar auto when creating is that is it a good or bad thing?
Okay, now calendar auto is not bad. Now the thing is that for you to be able to make your calendar auto work well, from what I know is that when you do your data model well, you model your data well, right? You connect. Then when you now bring in a calendar auto, there's a possibility that it's going to detect every date column from all your tables to determine what will be your start and your end. But calendar auto sometimes might not give you the accurate date range, but because you understand your data well, then you are going to be the one to determine what is going to be your start and your end dates.
Okay. So I think this is the last question. So someone's asking, I think that's to do with the fact table. So for key columns, does it need to be a text as a data type? So that's
for the key columns,
key.
yes.
Yeah.
It's for the primary and the foreign keys. Yes, it should be in text. So even though they might be numerical, right? But the reason why we are putting it in text is because we are not aggregating such a column, right? It is just a unique key that explains the uniqueness of a particular thing, right? So if you put it on number, for Power BI, you are saying that you want to aggregate, and you are not performing any manipulation on that kind of column. It's a unique key, just like saying that male is A and female is B. Or even if you say male is 1 and female is 2, are you going to be doing plus or minus or average or division of that column? No, right? So that's why it's always best practice to put such keys in text and not in numbers.
Okay, I think that's oh, no question. You are way behind time. Okay, so the
okay.
last two question will be how you started your own data journey, and also what advice you have for people just starting out in the data field.
Okay, so I started my data analytics journey in 2019. So it was at a time when I finished NYS 2017 though. So I did some one-man business kind of job, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled on those kind of jobs. So I had to resign myself, and I was looking for one next to do. Then if a friend of mine got into one of the top Nigerian banks as a graduate trainee, then he told me about data analytics, and it was like it's a very it's a career that has a lot of prospects. And I was like, I don't know anything about it because my background was in sociology. I don't really know much about tech. So I went online, started looking for the meaning. I got some information, but I didn't really understand it well. So as at that time, I was thinking of going into web design, front end, back end, and all of those. So to go into full stack generally. But by the time I got to where I was going to take my data, my training, my IT training, so the manager then said I should just take data science, that's like the hot cake now. And so that was how I got enrolled. At first it was hard. I remember when we were in classes and we were doing VLOOKUP, they all looked very strange to me. And it was like, it was like looking like Arabic to me at that time. So, but I kept learning, I kept pushing, and I will always ask you questions. That's why I always disturb you. So I kept asking questions from those that knew more than me, and I will reach out to people on LinkedIn. I'll reach out to my colleagues that we are in the office together to say, oh, please, do you know, can you help me solve this thing? Can you help me? No, I'm stuck here. And that is how I've been developing myself in one way or the other. So when I get stuck, I call colleagues. So it's always also good to also join communities that's where you find people who are going to also help you out when you are stuck. Because even me, till now, I still call people to say, I'm stuck. Can you come on? Can we do like a short Zoom meeting? Can you just show me around how I'm going to do this? So that is one of the things that have helped me, and that's my advice for everybody too that is coming to the field. That when you learning is the first thing. The second stage is join communities. Join communities that are going to be of help to you in terms of showing you if you are stuck. They can tell you because somebody has been through that stage before, has done that same thing you are doing before, and that person has been able to solve it. And I remember when I was doing this talk report then, when I got stuck, I used to like call out colleagues in the same data community to say, guy, I cannot do this thing, I'm stuck, and they will always find a way to help me out. So I would say that learn first. You can register for the urBizEdge trainings. They do a lot of Power BI and Excel trainings. You can join one of those trainings and you learn a lot from the training. And the next stage is that you start building projects, you start building portfolio, you go online, you build Power BI dashboard, take case studies online, build reports, create a portfolio for yourself, and start reaching out to people on LinkedIn, HR managers on LinkedIn, HR personnel on LinkedIn. Reach out to. I remember when I was to get my first job, I got it through. Okay, I would not like to mention his name. I got it through somebody I met on LinkedIn. It was the one that gave me my first opportunity to work as a data analyst. It was the one that gave me. So networking too is very important in this field. You have to like really network with people. So that was why I met him, and was the one that gave me my first opportunity. And this is going to be my fourth. Where I am now is going to be my fourth data job from 2020. Wow. I started my full-time data analyst career. This job I'm currently doing, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's going to be my fourth job. I've worked with Nigerian builders before in their routes to market department. I've worked with a company called Alexo in Ibadan. I've worked with AB InBev. known as National Breweries in Nigeria. And currently I'm with Afia Care. It's an healthcare company in Ikoyi, Lagos. So this will be my fourth job. So there's a lot of prospects
Awesome.
in